Thursday, November 25th, 2021, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. So I wish I had good news, but I don't, unfortunately. It's the reality. We've got the UK energy sector under pressure again. The seventh biggest energy supplier has had to be basically nationalized and bailed out by us. Yes, the taxpayer. It's not by government. Of course, the government does it, but in the end of the day, we're paying for it. Future generations are paying for it. And it's completely wrong and immoral. But before I go into the story, just want to wish all my viewers in the US a happy Thanksgiving 2021. We don't celebrate Thanksgiving here in the UK, but the tradition of Thanksgiving was, of course, started by the English pilgrims that went to the New World, so to speak. And it's a tradition that is in other countries as well, like Canada. So yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your turkey. I know it's more expensive, but unfortunately that's not surprising. And tomorrow there's something else that I don't rate as high as Thanksgiving, and that's Black Friday. What do I think about Black Friday? Well, it's just a symptom of fiat currency materialism, fiat currency credit-induced spending. Yes, that's the problem with this system. If people don't keep spending and borrowing, it doesn't go. It does. The system implodes. So yeah, I can't see the pilgrims back in 1621, the day after their Thanksgiving meal, going out and shopping and spending money and doing what people do nowadays. But anyway, back to the energy crisis. It's still ongoing here in the UK. We're seeing that also energy prices are continuing to go higher. They're not going to go any lower, I don't think. They might correct a little bit, but the trend is still higher. Government, of course, always does the wrong thing. You see a lot of comments, because I read the stories in the papers, like the Telegraph or FT. And a lot of people say privatization didn't work. The government needs to take over the energy sector again. But the problem is that they never really privatized, in my opinion, the sector the right way. They regulated it. The previous Prime Minister, Theresa May, put a cap on the price that energy companies can charge their customers. And then we've seen energy prices go through the roof in the last 6 to 12 months. And some people blame the energy cap, partly, but you should blame also the people running these companies. And they sprouted up like a mushroom, these energy suppliers, and loads of them have collapsed this year. And the latest one is Bulb, which, according to the newspapers and the stories, I think was the 7th biggest. Telegraph says here, taxpayers face 1.7 billion bill to bail out collapsed energy supplier Bulb. So I also think the fact that these energy companies, they called them challengers, the fact that they came out of nowhere and started offering all these deals to consumers is a symptom of the fact that people are hard up. People have been hard up since 08, 09, things that have not recovered. So anyone or any company that offers them a good deal, they'll go for it. And my wife and I have received calls over the last few years offering us a deal that seemed too good to be true. And I remember getting a call, and this young man on the phone said, "Oh, so you don't want to save on your energy bills?" I said, "I'm fine with what I've got." They were offering me half, I think, what I pay for my gas and electricity. And I thought to myself, there's something wrong there. And I said, I'm going to stick with my current provider. Well, our provider is British Gas, or Centrica. It's probably the biggest one. So I'm not surprised that they're all collapsing. And now the seventh biggest, the government has had to actually bail them out because the bigger companies will not take their customers. They call them orphans because they've got too much of a liability. They've already taken a lot of the other orphans, so to speak, in the last few months. But this was the end of the road. And we, taxpayers, consumers, are going to pay for it. And it makes you wonder whether these supposed business people were, how can I say, competent to run a business. Because if you know the product that you sell, that the price is capped, because the government did it, another mistake by government, and the wholesale product that you have to produce, its prices are going up. What are you going to do? Well, you're going to hedge it. You're going to go into the market and hedge so you don't lose money. But I suspect there's a lot of incompetence, greed. You look at the picture of this guy. He's the CEO of Bulb. His name is Hayden Wood. Look at his face. He's a smug, smug individual. Probably raked in a lot of money. I mean, I've heard stories of people who started out an energy supplier like anyone could. They just had to have a phone and a computer, and that's how they did it. And what's the solution to this? Well, personally, as a free market individual, competition, it's less regulation, less government, but unfortunately, they're going to do all the wrong things. They're bailing out this incompetent individual here, Hayden Wood. I'm sure he's going to be all right. I'm sure they're not going to go after his assets. And you might say, oh, but you're heartless. You can't allow, I think it's over 1 million customers, 1.7 million customers to freeze over winter. Of course not, but there's going to be a lot of people very cold because they're paying a higher price for their energy. They're paying more taxes. So what have you got to say about that? My view is that if you allow incompetent business people to collapse, you will drive incompetent business people out of business. But unfortunately, this bailout mentality is continuing. We bailed out incompetent and gamblers in the banking system back in 08, 09. And now we're bailing out energy suppliers. I think it's just outrageous. So let's quickly go through this Telegraph article, see what they say here. It says the failed energy supplier Bulb is to be bailed out with up to 1.7 billion pounds of taxpayer money after government insiders admitted a speedy sale is unlikely following its collapse into administration. The Treasury is preparing to hand over hundreds of millions of pounds a month to ensure that Bulb's 1.7 million customers continue to get power and gas through to April, a court was told. Ministers have already agreed to put aside 1.7 billion of working capital to keep the business going. Lawyers for OFGEM added. That's the regulator. So we have had regulation and this has still happened. My argument is let businesses run. Let consumers learn the hard way. If you keep bailing people out and making everything okay, this is going to keep happening. So yeah, so they've given about £1,000 per customer. It says the energy regulator has won approval from the High Court to have bulb essentially nationalized through a process known as special administration, making it one of the only businesses to undergo a full bailout since the 2008 banking crisis. Hayden Wood, Bulb's chief executive, attended the hearing in person. I think it's outrageous, but unfortunately, that's going to continue. And it's the energy sector right now. What other sector is going to be bailed out in the future? Because things are not going to get any better. And have you noticed that it's always more and more supposed money from the government? We've got another 1.7 billion. I guess that's a drop in the ocean now. But these billions add up, and all that does is inflate the system even more, indebt the government even more, and it means more and more dilution of the currency. That means higher prices. So yeah, I'm really sorry to keep bringing these reports, but it's the reality. At least hopefully you will be prepared and not be surprised that things are not going to get better for a while yet. Yeah, as I said, the solution is to leave it to the free market. Free market is always the best regulator of businesses. It's always the best thing for consumers. If you have government always regulating things, making sure people don't suffer the consequence of their bad actions, things never improve. We don't need people like Theresa May or regulators telling us what we need to do. We need to be more self-sufficient. We need to do more due diligence. Just because it says it's regulated, something regulated, doesn't mean to say that we can just not have to worry about it. And that's the whole problem, I think. So a bit of a rant, but anyway, let's quickly look at where the markets are. And yes, the US markets are closed today, but the futures are open. They're not going to stay open all day, but be as it may, they're open right now. It's 8:15 a.m. London time. We've got spot gold up $6 at $17.9430. We're actually right near the highs of the session. The low has been $17.85. Silver is up 11 cents, about 0.5% at $23.64. The high has been 23.74. The low 23.48. The Dow futures is trading. It's up 100 points. The NASDAQ 100 future is up 66 points, 0.4%. And the S&P 500 future is up a third at 47.16. The FTSE is up slightly, just below 7,300. To the currencies, sterling is up an eighth at 133.43. The technical picture for sterling doesn't look good. That means more and more price rises because, of course, a depreciating currency is the other side of prices, right? If your currency is not worth as much, it won't buy as much. And that's why in Turkey it's also going to get worse, unfortunately, because if the currency there drops a lot, things are going to get more and more expensive, things that especially you have to import into the country. The euro is up 0.2% at 12.20. The dollar is down slightly versus the yen at 115.34. And the dollar is also down slightly versus the yuan at 638.90. Yet the Turkish lira is recovering a little bit. I think yesterday the dollar got up to 13.50. Right now we're just below 12. So I guess things don't drop or go up in a straight line. We'll have to see what happens in Turkey. I heard there's protests already, and that people are not accepting sometimes the local currency because it's moving around so much. But anyway, what about the Aussie dollar? Well, Aussie dollar is up slightly, trading at 72. The dollar's down slightly versus the Canadian dollar at 126.47. And the Kiwi dollar is down slightly at 68.70. To the commodities, we got WTI crude down 0.2% at 78.02. High-grade copper is up 0.5%, just under 450. High-grade copper starting to move a little higher the last few days. Natural gas prices down 0.5% at 509. So Treasury market is closed today. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button. Please share it far and wide. Think about subscribing to my channel if you haven't yet. And you can also follow me on Rumble, Twitter, Facebook, and all these other platforms below here. I wish you all a great day. Take care. Bye.